Greetings and welcome to the introduction to astronomy. In this week's misconception in astronomy, we are still going to be talking about the universe and see if there is something beyond the edge of the universe and what that means. So is there anything beyond the edge of the universe? Well, technically, by definition, it's no, because the definition of the universe is all space and all time. So there would not be anything there. Now, when we think of that, that can cause a little bit of confusion because we know that the universe is expanding and we think of things as they're expanding, they have to expand into something. So as we look at in our diagram here, it looks like the universe is expanding into something else. And what is that? But there's not. The universe is just expanding and creates space and time as it goes. So the universe is really not expanding into anything. The Big Bang did create all matter and time and space and energy, and everything was created there. So what existed before the Big Bang? Essentially nothing. So what would be beyond the edge? Well, it really depends on how we look at things here. So if we look at the universe as being, for example, a spherical universe, which is one option, and that would be a high density universe, but it's usually the easiest one to picture. Well, in this universe, you're talking about a universe here as a two-dimensional universe that is folded into a three-dimensional sphere. So the universe itself, everything would be contained in the surface of that sphere, and you would be confined to that. Therefore, there is no edge or no center. So you can imagine that two-dimensional universe expanding out into three dimensions. We can imagine that sphere getting bigger and bigger. But to an entity within that universe, there is nothing beyond it. It does not see anything beyond that because you can't look out into that dimension. Now, can you imagine that for ours? Well, it's really hard for us to imagine a three-dimensional universe expanding into a fourth dimension that we cannot picture. So while we can mathematically calculate a fourth spatial dimension, we really cannot picture that in our heads. And that's just because it's not something that we can see. We think of the dimensions as being perpendicular to one another, for example. So when we look at two dimensions, we can have two different directions, and we can imagine a third direction perpendicular to both of those at the same time. However, our minds cannot picture the fourth dimension that would be perpendicular to all three spatial dimensions at the same time, simply because we are confined to one part of the universe. We are confined into that three-dimensional universe. Now, the other thing that often comes up with this is the concept of the multiverse. Could there be other universes out there? And that's a good question. And it's not really something that we can ever directly answer, because we can't get from one universe to another. We can look at various examples of how those might be connected. We could be in one universe here, and there could be a whole set of other universes. But because they are not connected, there is no way to get from one universe to another. So you are stuck in the universe in which you are located. So let's go ahead and finish up with our summary at what we looked at today. And what we talked about was the universe encompasses all space, all time, all matter, everything. So beyond the universe, there is nothing. However, there could be the possibility of other universes. That is still a matter of speculation as to whether those other universes could possibly exist. So that concludes this week's misconception on there being something beyond the edge of the universe. We'll be back again next time for another topic in astronomy. So until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.